The biggest stage in American sports. Over 100 million people watching. The lights so bright they can probably be seen from space. And the headliner walks out knowing he is getting paid absolutely nothing. That is not a rumor. That is not exaggeration. That is the reality of the Super Bowl halftime show. And when Bad Bunny stepped into that spotlight, he did it for $0. Let that sink in for a second. By the way, welcome to Celebrity Rap Life, where the spotlight never fades, comebacks are built from chaos, and every headline tells a deeper story. Like, subscribe, and stay locked in because the story is about to unfold. No performance fee, no massive appearance check, no 8-figure payout the next morning. Just the opportunity, just the exposure, just the risk. And then, as if that was not enough to shake the culture, Drake appears. Out of nowhere. One moment the stadium is roaring in Spanish, dancing to reggaeton rhythms that once were considered too niche for American primetime. The next moment the beat switches, and one of the biggest rap artists in the world walks onto the same stage. Two global titans, two different lanes, one historic moment. But the real story is not the shock factor. The real story is why. Why would Bad Bunny, one of the most streamed artists on the planet, agree to perform for free? Why would Drake, a master strategist when it comes to branding and numbers, attach himself to a show where there is no direct paycheck? And what does this actually cost behind the scenes? Because make no mistake, free does not mean cheap. The NFL does not pay the halftime performer. That is standard. Instead, the league covers production costs. The stage, the lighting, the dancers, the fireworks, the insane level of technical precision required to pull off a 13-minute spectacle that has to be set up and taken down in record time. But artists still invest. They invest creatively. They invest emotionally. Sometimes they invest financially to elevate the show beyond the league's budget. Wardrobe changes, exclusive choreography teams, custom stage builds, surprise features, licensing for special arrangements. All of that adds up. So when Bad Bunny said yes, he was not just saying yes to a free performance. He was saying yes to one of the most scrutinized moments of his entire career. And for him, that moment carries extra weight. Bad Bunny is not just another pop star chasing headlines. He represents an entire language, an entire culture, an entire generation of Latin artists who watched the Super Bowl growing up and rarely saw themselves reflected on that stage. Now, imagine the pressure of knowing that when you step out there, you are not just performing songs, you are carrying representation. He opens with confidence. The visuals are bold. The rhythms are unapologetically Latin. No watered-down versions, no forced English translations to make it more comfortable. Just pure energy, pure identity. And the crowd responds. Not just the stadium crowd. The internet explodes. Social media timelines flood. Clips start circulating within seconds. Fans screaming that history is being made. Then the lights dim. A beat that sounds familiar begins to build. You hear the reaction before you see him. Drake. The camera cuts and there he is, walking into the frame like he had been hiding in the shadows the entire time. The volume inside the stadium doubles instantly. You can feel the disbelief. This is not just a feature. This is a moment designed to dominate conversation. Think about the strategy. Bad Bunny is already global. Drake is already global. Together, they create a crossover that bridges English and Spanish audiences in a way that feels effortless instead of forced. It's not about ego, it's about amplification. When two artists at that level share a stage, the internet doesn't just watch, it debates, it argues, it compares. Who owned the stage more? Bad Bunny with the cultural weight and home field charisma, or Drake with the effortless swagger and undeniable hit catalog? You could see it in their body language. This was not a competition, but it was electric. They fed off each other. The energy bounced back and forth. One verse flows into another. The crowd doesn't know where to look because both of them command attention. And here's where the real calculation comes in. Because even though the performance fee is $0, the exposure is priceless. Historically, artists who headline the Super Bowl see massive spikes in streaming numbers immediately after the show. Albums that were already successful surge back up the charts. Songs from years ago suddenly trend again. Merchandise sells out. Tour announcements become bigger. Brand deals multiply. It's essentially the most powerful advertisement in music. Except you are the product. Bad Bunny understands this. Drake understands this. They don't need a check from the NFL because the return on investment is global dominance. And there's something else that matters even more than money. Legacy. The Super Bowl halftime show is not just another performance. It is archived forever. It becomes a cultural timestamp. Years from now, people will say, "Do you remember when Bad Bunny brought that energy to the Super Bowl? Do you remember when Drake walked out and the stadium lost its mind?" These moments live beyond charts. But it's still a gamble, because the same platform that can elevate you can also tear you apart. If the performance is underwhelming, the criticism is brutal. Memes fly within seconds. Commentators dissect every vocal crack, every dance move, every camera angle. So stepping onto that stage is a high-risk move, especially when you're already at the top. Bad Bunny didn't need this to validate his career. Drake definitely didn't need it to prove his relevance. So why take the risk? Because dominance is not about comfort. It's about expansion. The NFL has been steadily diversifying its halftime choices in recent years, leaning deeper into hip-hop and global sounds. But a Bad Bunny headline moment signals something even bigger. It signals that Spanish-speaking music is not a niche. It's not an add-on. It's center stage. And when Drake appears, it reinforces that global collaboration is the future. Music no longer lives in silos. Playlists are mixed. Audiences are mixed. Cultures are blending in real time. This performance becomes symbolic of that shift. Behind the scenes, the preparation is intense. Months of rehearsals, security tight enough to guard state secrets so the Drake surprise doesn't leak, creative directors mapping every second so there are no dead moments, camera teams practicing angles over and over because there's no redo in front of 100 million viewers. Think about the mental pressure. One slip, one technical glitch, one missed cue, it becomes international news. Yet when the moment arrives, it looks effortless. That's the illusion of greatness. And then there's the business side. After the show, streaming platforms light up. Bad Bunny's catalog surges. Drake's collaborative tracks spike. Old songs climb back into viral charts. Brand partners smile because their investment just reached the largest television audience of the year. So how much is that exposure worth? If a 30-second Super Bowl commercial costs millions, imagine 13 minutes of uninterrupted spotlight where you're not selling a product, you're building myth. Would fans pay to witness that live? They already do. Stadium tours sell out worldwide, but the Super Bowl stage adds another layer. It's exclusive. It's once in a lifetime. It can't be replicated exactly. And that scarcity makes it powerful. The debates start immediately. Was this the greatest halftime show ever? Did Bad Bunny redefine what global pop looks like in America's biggest sports event? Did Drake steal the moment or elevate it? Social media becomes a battlefield of opinions. Clips freeze-frame their facial expressions. Analysts compare it to past legends. Some call it iconic, others call it calculated. But everyone is talking. And that might be the biggest win of all, because attention is currency. Bad Bunny walks away without a direct paycheck, but with something potentially more valuable. Cultural cement. The kind of validation that says you are not just popular, you are historic. Drake walks away reinforcing his reputation as a strategic genius. He knows how to appear at the exact moment that keeps him in every conversation. A surprise cameo at the Super Bowl is not random. It's chess, not checkers. The collaboration also quietly sends a message to the industry. Unity is profitable. When artists collaborate across languages and markets, they don't shrink their audience, they multiply it. For young artists watching at home, the message is even deeper. You don't have to change your identity to reach the biggest stage. You can bring your language, your rhythm, your culture with you. That's powerful. And maybe that's the real story. Not the $0 paycheck, not even the surprise guest, but the shift in what the Super Bowl represents. It's no longer just an American showcase. It's a global concert broadcast through an American lens. Bad Bunny performing in Spanish on that stage is not just entertainment, it's evolution. Drake stepping into that moment is not just hype, it's alignment. Together, they create something bigger than either of them individually. So when people ask, was this the greatest move in music history or a risky gamble? The answer might be both. It's risky because the spotlight is unforgiving. It's smart because the reward extends far beyond money. And in an era where streams, headlines, and viral moments shape careers, dominating the Super Bowl halftime show is like planting a flag on the highest peak in the industry. You may not get paid to climb it, but everyone sees you standing at the top. That image alone can echo for decades. And as the lights fade and the stadium transitions back to football, one thing is certain. Nobody is talking about the